Hey everybody, welcome to week 6. This week we're going to jump into Google Analytics and social media. And, quite frankly, when I first started teaching, this was a topic we didn't even talk about. Now it would be a huge miss if this was something that we didn't spend time discussing. So, of course, one thing Google Analytics does is give us that ability to look at who's leveraging our website. How often it tells us things like who shows up at our website, how long they stay there, how many pages they look at, what got them to our website. Was it a search engine? Was it direct, meaning they typed something like rockhurst.edu directly into a web browser? Was it from a referring site? So if we're talking about Rockhurst, maybe they're on a website of the, top business schools in Kansas City, for example. That would be a referring site. So social media is the other element of this week that continues to play a huge role in business, right? It's to the point where we can no longer ignore what goes on in the social media environment, and the lines continue to blur. I remember when I was working corporate and social media first started to hit the scene. Suddenly, I found myself getting social media requests on like Facebook and Twitter from my bosses, from coworkers, and over the years I've definitely had some good bosses and some good coworkers, but I've also had some really bad bosses and some really bad coworkers that frankly I just didn't want them having any insight into my personal life. And actually, for a while, I worked in an organization that was incredibly conservative. Many of the leaders I worked under were very religious people, where, I, on the other hand, am not shy about enjoying a fine handcrafted ale or doing other things that they might frown upon. And that was a lot of what my social media consisted of. So that it kind of blurred the lines a little bit of, literally you're faced with the decision of the boss going, why didn't you accept my Facebook request? And, I found myself lying going, I don't really spend any time on there. Sorry, I didn't see your request, which truth be told, I really don't spend a lot of time out there, but big picture, it's like, I don't want you knowing what I do when I'm not at work. There you go. So your assignment for this week will be actually analyzing a company's social business or social media policy. And if you work for somebody that has one, I'd like you to analyze that. If you don't work, or maybe your organization doesn't have one, and like some examples, like last semester, for example, I had a couple students that worked for a very small landscaping company. They didn't have a social media policy, but it's something that most organizations should have. Rockhurst has one. If you don't have access to one, in the assignment I've provided a list of several that you could get access to review. And when you do that review and that analysis of the assignment, let me give you a little tip. Almost every single social media policy is missing something, okay? And this is because it evolves so quickly, right? I audited an organization not too long ago, and they talked about in their policy, it said MySpace is a new up-and-coming platform. MySpace is dead, so it's just entirely not true. So be sure you're pretty mindful of that. Look at it with a keen eye. What's missing? Most likely something is going to be missing. Even the link I give you of good social media profiles, there's stuff missing from there as well. So be cognizant of that. And then also probably the common thing that a lot of people lose points on for this assignment is when you upload it, you also need to upload either a link to the policy or the actual policy itself if it's a Word document, okay? So I had a student last semester say, well, I talked to my boss about this and he's not okay with me sharing our social media policy. You need to pick something else. So I need to be able to see that policy if it's something I'm not familiar with. So hang in there. We're almost to the halfway point. So look forward to seeing what you come up with this week.